بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني من نور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all His blessings and in particular for giving us opportunity to continue our studies of akhlaq. Lesson 15 is about moderation, and this is a very important aspect of Islamic teachings. This affects our relation with other people as well, but first of all, it's something about our relation with ourselves. So it's a personal quality, and this is why we discuss it in this section, because this section is about personal qualities. But for sure, any personal quality would affect our relation with other people, like humility, like truthfulness that we had before. What we understand from the Quran is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in His creation and in His legislation, has a special place for balance. In creation, in takween, He has created everything with a measure. For example, if you look at page 223, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنا كل شيء خلقناه بقدر. Chapter 54, verse 49. We have created everything in a measure. The creation of Allah is massive. We cannot even think of ends of it, the borders of the creation. It's massive, but at the same time measured. It's not that just Allah, keeps creating without having any measure, without not knowing what He's doing, na'uzu billah, or doing things in bulk. No. Everything has a measure. And that measure is observed. It would not be more, it would not be less. Well planned, well measured. Or if you go to the next page, page 224, we have verses 7 to 9 of chapter 55. Again about creation. وَالسَّمَاءَ رَفَعَهَا وَوَضَعَ الْمِيزَانَ أَلَّا تَطْغَوْا فِي الْمِيزَانِ وَأَقِيمُوا الْوَزْنَ بِالْقِسْطِ وَلَا تُخْسِرُوا الْمِيزَانَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He has raised the sky high and He made the balance. Mizan sometimes means a scale, but here means balance. And it's related because, when there is scale, you measure, you weigh, and then you can keep the balance. Why He made a balance? So that you may not inordinate in respect of the measure. So, this ayah connects balance in creation to balance in our behavior. And this is where legislation comes. So in His takween, He has observed balance, and therefore He expects us in His tashri', in His legislation also to observe balance. You cannot do something in your behavior regardless of the way this world is created. For example, when it comes to charity, which is very important, and it's very important, we talked about it before also. But even in giving your own money, or giving food, or clothes, or time, there must be a balance. Maybe you think for charity, the more the better. But Allah says, even here, there is a balance. For example, if you go to page 225, verse 67 of chapter 25, Allah praises people that they observe balance in giving out. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَنفَقُوا لَمْ يُسْرِفُوا وَلَمْ يَقْتُرُوا وَكَانَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ قَوَامًا. Allah praises the people that when they give charity, they don't give too much or too little. And then he says, between these two is qawam. Between these two is what can remain and is endurable, is manageable for long time. If I give too much and then make myself and my family poor, and I become either burden on other people or have miserable life, this is not good. Or if I don't give except very little and keep saving for myself, this is also not good. Neither give too much nor too little. As we have in another ayah, لا تبسط يدك كل البسط ولا تجعلها مغلولة إلى عنقك. Neither open your hand too much so that you give everything, nor fasten your hand to your neck so that you don't give anything. Give the balanced amount. Or for example, in the Quran we have about how we should use our tone. Even in Salat, you should not shout or speak very loudly, nor very quiet. If you look at page 226, verse 110 of chapter 17, وَلَا تَجْهَرْ بِصَلَاتِكَ وَلَا تُخَافِتْ بِهَا وَابْتَغِ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ سَبِيلًا. Do not speak very loudly in your prayer, and do not speak very quietly so that even you don't understand what you are saying. Of course, we have Salatul Jah, Salatul Ikhwat, but still in a balanced way. It's not that for Salatul Jah, even your neighbors can hear you. Or for Salatul Ikhwat, even you cannot understand what you are saying. Find the balance. So even for something like Salat, balance is important. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't see this balance. And when we go to public places, for example, sometimes in the shrines, in sacred places, you see people shouting. And this is not good, because this is a sacred place, a holy place. One of the etiquettes that we have to observe in a holy place is to be as much as possible quiet. Don't disturb other people. If there is something that everyone is involved, for example, we are doing Salatul Jama'ah, so we say Azan loudly so that all of us hear. But if I am reading Dua or reading Quran and other people are doing other things, I should know what is the balance for me in this moment. If I raise my voice as if there is no one else, this would hurt other people, annoy other people. This is not good. sometimes, people, for example, recite ziyarah very loudly. Sometimes, people say salawat, then they say the next one even louder, the next one even louder. I don't think this is very good. I don't want to say against it, but I don't think this is compatible with the etiquette of that place. When you are in the shrine, you should be very, very much observing the sacredness of that space. There is a personality there that you should imagine. Imam is there. Can you speak like this when Imam is there? Quran says, "La tarfa'u aswatakum fawqa sawti an-nabi." When you are with the Prophet, don't raise your voice over the voice of the Prophet. And then other people are also there. Maybe someone is now thinking. Maybe someone is praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in sajda, or needs quiet time. Why we should distract people? So, even in such things, you have to find a balance. How much we should socialize? We should find balance. It's not that we never meet people, we never, invite people. This is not good. But also, every day, every night, we go out, we bring guests. So when you want to learn, when you want to study, when you want to focus on your family, you have to find balance. Traveling needs balance. How much we should work needs balance. If you work day and night, weekend, weekdays, throughout the year, this is not good. You will exhaust yourself, you will lose your relation with family, community. But also, if you work too little, this is not also good. We have to find in everything the balance. Then there is a discussion in the book about what Aristotle suggested, which was later welcomed by many philosophers and many Muslim also philosophers of ethics, is the idea of balance as the major standard for any moral virtue. You may remember we had this discussion that according to Greek philosophers like Aristotle and some Muslim philosophers like Avicenna and other people, we have three faculties, three quwwa we say, means three principles in us that causes our actions. One is al-quwwa al-aqila, the faculty which is responsible for our reasoning, rationality. The second is al-quwwa al-shahawiyya, which is responsible for our appetites and desires. And the third is al-quwwatu al-qadhabiyya, which is responsible for our anger. We need all these three to be maintained in the middle position, hadd wasat, in the middle position. If they go to one extreme or the other, this is the problem. For example, if in your rational faculty you go to extreme, you become too critical. You can never make up your mind. You always have doubts. You have become too critical. You cannot trust anything. You cannot believe in anything. You cannot make any decision. You are always full of doubts. Or if you go to the negative side, everything that people say you believe. No critical mind. As soon as you hear something, you believe. That's a problem also. But hikmah, wisdom, is the balanced position for this faculty. Or for example, al-quwwatu shahawiyya. If it becomes too active, hyperactive, you are never satisfied. You just want to enjoy yourself more. When it comes to eating, drinking, sex, no limit. Too active. Never happy, never satisfied. Or if it is not active, has no desire for anything, it's again not useful. If you have no desire for food, no desire for anything. Or al-quwwatul qadhabiyya. If someone is very radical in this quwwa, then becomes very aggressive. He wants to fight everyone, always ready for fighting. If you don't say salam, for example, loudly to them, they get angry. If you don't, offer them what they want, they get angry quickly. So there are people who are very quick in getting angry. Or, if it goes to the other extreme, there are people who never get angry. People mistreat them, people shout at them, treat them without honor, kill, for example, their family or their nation, they occupy their home. Never they get angry. There should be a balanced position. You should have controlled, measured anger. Not that you get angry and then you lose your control, but you should have a kind of ability to react. So, Aristotle used to say that if you manage to reach balance in al-quwwatul aqila, which is responsible for it's wisdom, hikmah. Al-quwwatul shahawiyya, the balance is iffa, modesty. Afif is the one who observes modesty in every desire. And if you manage to observe balance in anger, then it is bravery. Shaja'a. Shuja'a is brave. Shaja'a is bravery. Who is brave? Brave is not the one who is always fighting. Brave is the one that when needed is ready to fight. When not needed, he is ready to be silent. Amirul Mu'minin is brave. Why? Because he was able to fight when was needed, and he was able to be patient 25 years when needed. We need this quality. It's different from to be a person who is, a warrior all the time, fights. This is not bravery. Imam Hassan alayhi salam is brave. Why? Because in the time of his father, when needed, he was participating in the jihad, but also he was brave to accept ceasefire with Muawiyah. That was a very brave decision. And many people didn't understand that. Rasulullah accepted peace treaty of Hudaybiyah. Some Muslims didn't accept that. Because they thought we should always fight. And they thought it's a sign of not being brave if you come to some agreement with the enemies not to have fight. So, balanced position is important. We have a hadith which is very similar to what Aristotle and other philosophers have said, which I have quoted here from Imam Kadhim alayhi salam on page 230. خَيْرُ الْأُمُورِ أَوْسَطُهَا. The best of affairs are the middle ones. Awsat means not too much, not too little. Don't go to extremes in both sides of the spectrum. خير الأمور أوسطها. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam also said, Al-Jahilu la yura illa mufratan or mufarratan. Jahil, the one who is ignorant, is either mufrat, means does in excess, or mufarrat, ifrat and tafrit. Have you heard ifrat and tafrit? Ifrat means to do too much, tafrit means to do too little. Those who are ignorant, they do always either too much or too little. To find the balance needs wisdom. And some Mufassirin say this ayah also relates to balance, although there is another interpretation, but this is also one interpretation. Quran says, كَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. Allah says, we made you a middle nation. What it means? It means a balanced nation. لَتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. So that you can be witness for people. If you are balanced, you can be a role model. The Prophet is a role model for you. You can become role model for other people. In Khutbah Muttaqin, the famous khutbah sermon of the pious, Amir al-Mu'minin, when he talks about the pious, about Muttaqin, one of the things he says is مَلْبَسُهُمُ الْاقْتِصَادِ. I have quoted in the footnote of page 231. مَلْبَسُهُمُ الْاقْتِصَادِ. Malbas means clothing. If you want to translate literally, it means in their clothing, in buying, for example, using clothes, dress, they are observing balance and they are economical. Iqtisad means they don't spend too much or too little. But some people have said this is more than just dress, means this is their behavior, this is their norm, this is their habit, that in everything they observe iqtisad, means middle way. Because qast, one of the meaning of qast is middle, balance. So muttaqi in everything is balanced. We have to have activities, we have to have also some rest. We have to eat, but also we have to be careful not to eat too much. We have to sleep, but not to sleep too much. We have to speak. We cannot stop talking, but we should not speak too much. Everything has a balance. And if we manage to strike the balance, then we would be successful and we would be very close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is a discussion here that's one of the points that is more discussed in moral philosophy, but briefly here we discuss it, is can we say there are things that you don't need to worry about doing too much, you can always do as much as you can? Or everything has to be kept in middle position? For example, remembrance of Allah. Can we say remembrance of Allah is also to be kept in balance, or we can say remember Allah as much as you can? Pardon? Yes. So, the answer is this can be taken as an exception, but after careful consideration, even this is not an exception to that rule. First, as an exception, we have this hadith that Allah has made a limit for everything except dhikr. Dhikr has no limit. Even fasting, hajj, umrah, ziyarah, salatul fariza, salatul nafila, these actions have limits. But the condition of being mindful of Allah has no limit. ذكري حسن على كل حال. This is Hadith Qudsi. ذكري حسن على كل حال. In all conditions, it's good to remember me. When you are alone, when you are with people, when you are eating, drinking, even when you are taking shower, in all circumstances, it's good to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, we can say this is an exception, that there is no excess. But I think even here, we can say, yes, there is a way of doing dhikr as much as you can, but even here you have to be careful not to do it in the way which is not balanced. So, for example, you can be always mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but if you are not someone who is ready for that and you try to impose that, then you would lose the balance. So, it's possible. رِجَالٌ لَا تُلْهِهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. There are people that nothing makes them forget Allah, even when they are buying or selling. But if you are not ready for that, and you try to impose it on yourself, then you may not be able to do justice to your job. So now you have to talk to people, and then you may not show them enough attention because you are not able to have zikr of Allah and attention to people. Or you are selling something because you are not able to have both, then maybe you sell them less or too much. And it's not always your money, sometimes it's someone else's shop that you are working there. So, in principle, yes, it is possible that you be always trying to remember Allah. اذكروا الله ذكرا كثيرا, as much as you can. But you have to be careful. You need to do even this in a measured and balanced way. Give everything its due right. Do justice to other tasks and responsibilities. Train yourself for that. If you rush, if you are not prepared and impose it on yourself, then even this can become problematic. So, this is also a point that we want to discuss here. Now, what I want to say as a final point is that although for every person this balance is very, very important and helps to become successful, for community this becomes even more important. As a community also we have to be balanced. Sometimes communities become radical or become very passive. Sometimes communities do something too much and neglect about other responsibilities that we have. So for community also it's very important that they always monitor their policies, their activities, and measure them with our priorities and find where they stand. Maybe now is the time we do certain things more, or we do certain things less. Maybe we need to be more efficient in using our resources. Maybe we should be more active in working in some areas. So it's very important, and also here you cannot expect all communities to do the same. It depends. For example, if you are a community which you have more youngsters, more young children, you have to consider this and maybe do certain things more than communities that are more aging people, and then less of something that those people who are more aging communities must do. Or based on where you are you in a Muslim land, in a non-Muslim land? Sometimes you have to measure. Maybe if you are in non-Muslim land, you have to do more activities for reaching out, more activities to establish harmony and cohesion with the public. If you are in an Islamic environment, then that's easier. If you are surrounded with Muslims from other sects, for example, again, this is bringing new dimension. So a community also must be balanced, not only individuals. But if as individuals we try to be measured and balanced, inshallah, when we become active members of community and we undertake responsibilities, this can be also shifted to the community. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to enable all of us to achieve all the virtues, and in particular we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us wisdom and balance, because if we have these two, then inshallah we can sort out many other things. May Allah give all of us inshallah wisdom and balance. May Allah include us among the people who resemble Ahlul Bayt by having good traits of character. May Allah include us among the people who prepare for the coming of Imam Mahdi Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin.
Son, Sheikh.